What is up, fellow thermonuclear AFers? I am Dan Favale coming at you with another YouTube exclusive. Before we dive into my reaction to this ranking of the top 25 small forwards entering next season, just a reminder to please hit that subscribe button on YouTube if this is your first time checking us out. It means the world to me. We do these in one take. They're off the cuff. They're fun. Comment, hit the like button also to help bust up the algorithm and make it love us back. And also, please consider joining our Discord. The link to that is in the YouTube subscription. But please, subscribe. If you want to see my reaction to the rankings of the point guards and the shooting guards, I'll try to remember to include the links to those into the description, and we will continue forth with this and do power forwards and centers. But yeah, let's dig into this and see what I disagree with, what I love. These are always fun to go through. Number 25, Jonathan Kuminga. I guess I don't consider him a small forward. But I like the ambition of maybe including him in here. I consider him more of a 4, but I know you're looking at possession data from last season. He was probably a 3. I don't know if I would have him on this list. Kelly Oubre Jr., another player that I think should probably be playing more 4 than 3, but the Charlotte Hornets setup right now kind of means that he needs to play a lot of 4, so I get it. Dylan Brooks at the 3. That makes sense. Defensive whiz. If he had a consistent three-point shot, I bet you he's a lot higher up on a list like this. Gordon Hayward, Charlotte. Whoa, 22. That is, we got to see the other names, but that feels low. A healthy Gordon Hayward is just ridiculously good as a playmaker, as sort of a complimentary scorer. Doesn't have as much off the dribble juice or rim pressure as he used to following all these injuries, but wow. Even just as a nice passer, I'm a little bit surprised to see him this low. Down to 21, DeAndre Hunter above Gordon Hayward. I can't get there right now. I know he's younger, probably has more defensive range at this point, but he fell off a cliff last season offensively. I need to see more progress there from him before saying that. Sadiq Bey, love the ambition here. He showed some kind of off-the-dribble pizzazz in Detroit last season, in addition to covering a pretty wide positional spectrum defensively. I don't know if I trust him enough as sort of this efficient offensive player to be this high, especially in front of Gordon Hayward. I have Gordon Hayward in front of him, but I love the projected leap here. Josh Hart, Portland, yeah, I get it. Super complimentary on the defensive end. Good rebounder, might be a little overrated there. And if he could hit his threes at a higher clip, but he also gives you some rim pressure, so I understand it. But still, above Gordon Hayward, is that an availability thing? Maybe. Herb Jones, New Orleans, get at me. I think if he continues to shoot the 3 ball fairly well, and we've seen him attack in sort of straight line situations, just everything he does defensively, this is someone who could continue skyrocketing up this list. Bojan Bogdanovic, Utah, I don't think he's still going to be on the Jazz long term. I consider him more of a 4 than a 3 at this point, but he's just one of the best pure shooters in the game and has a very complimentary offensive package. So, as a small forward in Utah, but I think he's more of a 4 elsewhere. Franz Wagner in Orlando, really good last season. Had a lot more off-the-dribble juice than I expected. There's like a physicality to the way that he uses his shoulders, coupled with the finesse that he can go up with, though, at the basket. He's someone who can hit a set jumper, and he was better. He covered actual wings on defense last year, and he held up better than I thought he was going to. Keldon Johnson, someone else I consider more of a 4 or a 3. These exercises are hard when you're trying to figure out positions. I know you're going by possession data from last season. He had a fantastic year. I just... is he better than Wagner? Yeah, he's definitely better than Wagner. I don't know if I trust his offensive package enough on the ball to say that he should be this high. Then again, like if you put him going downhill, Keldon Johnson is just a hell of a player. I guess I just don't consider him a 3, and so I'm stammering here. RJ Barrett, New York. This probably feels like right where he belongs. He is more of a 3 when you're looking at this roster specifically. I'm very interested to see what offensive role they carve out for him. I want to see the ball in his hands more, leading some bench units. That could get difficult, though, when you have Randall and Jalen Brunson. Not to mention Derrick Rose there as well. They could have Donovan Mitchell there in the middle of the season, too. But he's better defensively than a lot of people think, and he also sort of has this spot-up jumper that can be topsy-turvy. I do believe he can play off the ball as well, though, and so that's fair. Michael Porter Jr. at 13. This is not his ceiling, but it's also not his floor. Super combustible when you're looking at what could happen with his back injuries, but he is one of the best just shooters in the league right now. When you look at the package, just off movement, being able to rise up over everybody and from the different levels, specifically the mid-range and from beyond the arc, I like it. And if you told me he played in 65 games next season, I'm putting him higher than this. I'm not going to lie. OG Anunoby at 12. This feels low. My guy's a really good on-ball defender. He can hit the 3 ball as well. And this is someone who I think we've seen can hit like those slow, methodical pull-up jumpers and also attack going downhill. I thought he improved as a decision maker in those areas as well, where deciding whether to drive or to pass. I think he's just quicker in those regards. I'd probably have him higher too. He's only 25 years old. Andrew Wiggins, I get it. Just the second best player for the Warriors in the NBA Finals, basically. I'm just interested to see if there's a follow-up here. He's played well in Golden State overall. Is the defense going to hold, and will the scoring package be as consistent? It is interesting to find him outside the top 10 after the finals he just had. Mikal Bridges in front of him, I dig it. I know a lot of people get on about his sort of offensive passivity. It'd be nice to see him be more aggressive when he's attacking and not look maybe to defer as much. But this is someone who could just shoot the three, really get out in transition and mess with defenses. And then he is just everywhere all at once on the defensive end as well. So he's a top 10 small forward for me. Chris Middleton, Milwaukee. This almost feels low. Are you worried about his injury? We got to see who's in front. But Chris Middleton got game. This is someone who I think peaked as a top 20 or 25 player. Just all NBA caliber in any given season still. Coming in at number 8, we have DeMar DeRozan, who is a 3, an incredible passer, still just a great mid-range guy. And he was really the driving force behind Chicago's offensive structure last year. I get it. I probably prefer Chris Middleton to him. I like that he's a little bit more complimentary on offense, not as good as a passer. He's a better defender and certainly a better outside shooter. But DeMar DeRozan can certainly be more of an offensive engine overall. Brandon Ingram, yeah, I would have him ahead of the DeMar DeRozan and Mikal Bridges, OG, of course, and even Middleton here. He really came on for the Pelicans last season. It'll be interesting to see how the dynamic pans out between CJ and Zion, but I think he's shown enough as an off-ball, just set jump shooter that this is fine to put him this high. And the creativity when you're looking at someone who can work in the mid-range, he's really branched out his off-the-dribble 3. And I thought he came along defensively last year. It was certainly, to me, his best defensive effort or complete defensive effort since New Orleans. His ceiling, let's see who's in front of him. But, like, yeah, I could see his ceiling being higher than Paul George's. Like, that's Brandon Ingram to me could be better than Paul George. But you got to put Paul George here. Dude's just a boss. He can score. Not really a ton of rim pressure, but can score at all the other levels. Just an incredibly underrated defender, I feel like, at this point. You know, Kawhi Leonard is viewed as this defensive player of the year candidate if he remains healthy. Paul George, I don't know if he can stick there, but he's all defense caliber. And you have that with the offensive arsenal of someone who can be your one option, if not 1B option. Certainly deserves to be up there. Jimmy Butler at 5, no qualms here, putting him in front of Brandon Ingram and Paul George. It'd be nice to see him take more threes and hit more threes before the playoffs, but just a defensive workaholic, and then his facilitation, the pressure he puts on defenses at the rim going downhill, and then how they just react to him, like overreact to him a ton to where it sets up everything else that Miami's able to do. Really no huge qualms in the top 10 yet. Number 4, LeBron James. Oh, we might reach our first one. Is he more of a point guard or a small forward? Let's see who comes in front of him. We know what LeBron James is. And I do think it's important, like sort of the expansion of his off-the-dribble three-point shooting in recent years, having that step-back jumper fall a little bit more consistently. I know he's getting up there in age, but I'm interested to see, like, man, 4. Kawhi Leonard, that's fine. I'm still probably going to, the availability factor, I might just take LeBron at this point over him still. Peak Kawhi Leonard right now, by virtue of being younger and probably more engaged defensively, I get putting him ahead of LeBron, but even LeBron's passing, maybe we're sort of like too down on LeBron because he's probably responsible for a little bit how the Lakers have been built, and they don't profile as a great team right now. Let's see what happens with Westbrook, though. That 4 for LeBron, I'm just, Kevin Durant ahead of LeBron and Kawhi. I get it, but like, let's see Kevin Durant like go through the full season without having to deal with a health issue at this point. Misses the season for an Achilles and then has missed subsequent time over the past 2 years in the middle of the season. So if you want to put him ahead of Kawhi, that's fine. I trust LeBron's durability more, and I think that matters in these factors. And also just LeBron's offensive package is deeper. Like Kevin Durant, fantastic shooter, fantastic scorer, really good passer. LeBron has other levels to what he's doing, especially as a passer and someone who's going to set up a ton of corner threes and bunnies at the rim for his teammates. I don't view Kevin Durant in that same vein. And finally, Jason Tatum at number 1. Is he better than LeBron? Like, I just can't get there right now. I know that he had a great season, and I know how good Durant and Leonard are. LeBron is still the best. If you're going to look at this group, there's not a player who's better than LeBron right now. I mean, maybe on any given night, but if you need to win a 7-game series in the playoffs, I'm taking LeBron over any one of these players I just named, I think, right now. I think Kawhi probably has the strongest case, but the durability issues come into play for both him, for Kawhi, and also Kevin Durant. Jason Tatum doesn't have that same concern, but LeBron's passing is just light years ahead of his. at the moment. And this feels like maybe are we taking in regression for LeBron as he goes into his age like 80 season or whatever it is? Maybe. But given what we've seen over the past couple years, I can't get there. Let me know what you think about these rankings and the others in the comments. Please remember to hit that subscribe button. And until next time, I leave it with the shout out to one, the only, the actual best small forward in the game, even though he doesn't play small forward, Frank Ntilikina.